G'day, I'm Kate Grarrock. How are you? Today I've got a cracker of a little hike. We are back on the Great South Coast Walk, which is a walk all the way from Sydney down the south coast of New South Wales through to Mallacoota in Victoria. It's a cracker of a hike, about 700 k's. It's technically not a formal trail at the moment, but hopefully soon it's going to become a formal trail that you can just hike all the way from Sydney down to Mallacoota in Victoria. Today we're doing just a tiny little section, an overnight hike, and I'm doing it with Pete, who's Elsie's dad. So I'll say g'day to Pete in a minute. Off to a good start, and behind me is Pete. Hey Pete. Hey. The wind's starting to pick up, so fingers crossed that we can find a nice little sheltered spot somewhere out here on the beach and don't get blown away. I'm trialling tonight a new Dan Durston, the two-person tent. My mate Margus has lent to me, which is very generous. The one hiccup that I have is my hiking poles are shorter than the recommended size, so I'm gonna have to find something to prop them up a bit. Man, we've had so much rain, there's all these little creeks we have to cross, so we just sort of found a nice way around, but slowing us down a little bit. Oh man, this part of the forest is just so beautiful, and part of the reason I chose to do this part of the Great South Coast Walk is because it hasn't been burnt, and it's so lovely to hear the birds calling and be amongst forest that isn't charcoal and black. There's just something so beautiful about hiking in the bush right next to the ocean. You can get little glimpses out there of the ocean poking through, and it's actually quite a warm day, and I'm going to be pretty happy to set up the tent and get out a beer. I think we're getting there slowly, probably about halfway. We made it to the beach, and so then we're just going to do a bit more beach walking till we find a nice spot to stay. I think I'm going to drop down here and try and find the mecca of coastal walking, the firm sand. I love that sound of the waves hitting the boulders. All the rocks jiggling together. So we're at that annoying part in every hike where you've sort of completed it, but you're just piss farting around trying to find the best place to set up camp. And after a little bit of dicking around, I think we've finally found it. Green pastures, old cabin, good views. Oh, pretty happy with that. Oh. Ooh, that's good beer. This is Pete's first hike, and the other cool thing he's done is he hasn't gone out and spent, you know, $3,000 on new gear. He's bought a lot of his stuff secondhand, and then also borrowed a fair bit of stuff. So it's just a good way to get into hiking and suss it out and see if you like it, and, you know, not waste a heap of cash if it's not your vibe. I'm going to try and set up this Dan Durston two-person tent. I've heard some pretty cool things about it. The coolest thing is that it's a reasonable price, and it's sort of around the kilo mark for a two-person tent. The only issue, as I sort of pointed out before, for me, my hiking poles are a bit too short for it, so could be a bit of a dodgy pitch. I'm thinking of doing the Bibbulmun track next year, and so I'm thinking of finding a new tent To be honest, my existing tent's pretty darn good and I probably don't need a new one, but you know, us hikers, we do love our gear and it's always nice to try out new things. The other tent that I'm sort of leaning towards are some of those crazy expensive ones. They're getting up around $500 US, and you know, I'm not sure it's worth it, but what I've been doing is selling a bit of my old kit that I haven't been using and, you know, getting a bit of money together that way. Now, as I said, my poles were a little bit short, but I found a cool little way of fixing that. The perfect height, my beer cans. I don't know how strong they'll be once I drink the beer, but hey, I'm pretty happy with that. So I'm still just setting up here. I've got a gear video that I've made. I'll whack a link to it above. But yeah, basically I put all my beautiful warm sleeping gear, things that I want to keep nice and safe in here. It just packs down so nicely. I've got so many things in here. It's pretty impressive what you can do when you've got a, you know, like beautiful pillow, a full puffer jacket. Even brought a beach towel this time, and considering the weather, I'm probably not going to use it. So what I might do is actually just lay it down, kind of like as a little mat to protect my air mattress, because she's a bit special. I've got my bathers. Might not be able to use those. Just some nice warm sleeping clothes, a little pair of shorts, and my beautiful big puffy quilt. So we'll set this up. Put in my pillow. I love camping pillows. A few of my friends are starting to get into these too. They just, I don't know, they just change the experience for me, make it so nice. Furl out my blanket. Now this will be the real test. Empty can of beer, putting it under the tent stake. Let's see how we go. Hopefully it doesn't crush straight down. But even like this little section here is perfect for the hiking pole to sit into. It's pretty amazing. All right, let's see how we go. I think we're all right. Sweet. Maybe it's my spider phobia. I do love spiders, but I just don't really like them appearing on me suddenly. So I do like to actually have all my gear in the tent. I'd love to hear if you guys just throw it all in your bag and leave it outside the vestibule, or you know, if you are sort of like little featherers and it brings comfort in some way. I'm absolutely not sponsored to look at this tent. This is just a tent that my mate Margus lent me. Very generous of Margus. And Margus is from a trip you may remember back when we did the Horseshoe Bends on the Shoalhaven River, that epic hike. What an amazing evening. We've just had a big feed, a couple of beers, sitting by the fire. The sun is just setting overhead, and you know what? I'm gonna go to bed super early once again. A great end to a beautiful day. You know, it really is proof that, you know, you don't have to smash around for 12 hours to get to a nice site. Basically all I did with this was just look at the Google Maps, find a cool campsite that, you know, an area that I kind of know, and then follow the coastline down a bit to an area that didn't look like it had many people around, and bang. You know, it can be a bit difficult sometimes to find a nice place to pitch your tent, but we were very lucky on this trip. I'm all tucked up in bed. Good night. Good morning. Holy moly, what a beautiful morning it is here. I think we're going to get a bit too many clouds to get this beautiful, beautiful sunrise, but God, it's just so nice. The wind is like finally chilled out and it's actually freezing. I hope Pete was all right. Oh, it was a cold night. Oh, there's a dolphin or something. The dolphin just here playing in the waves. Sitting here on this little cliff as the sun rises. I could just sit here for hours watching the surf. That sun has finally come up and it is warming me up. It is so beautiful and it's hitting this amazing cliff line behind me. It just keeps getting more and more beautiful and changing. Pete, you warm enough? Did you freeze? It got pretty darn cold last night, hey? Oh. I can't wait for a warm brekkie. It's pretty darn chilly this morning. It's shocking. It's November. You'd think it'd be a heck of a lot warmer, but I'm so happy with these little beer can little supports that I put on my trekking poles. Just whacked a beer can in there, and this is one I've finished, so it's empty, and it's really strong and good and lightweight and multi-purpose. Here's something a little bit fun and crazy that I saw someone do once. This is actually deodorant, and so you know those sort of bars of deodorant that you roll up? You can actually smash them into like a little chapstick. Make sure you don't mistake it for actual lip cream, but yeah, a little lightweight deodorant. Sometimes I won't wear it on a trip, but you know, sometimes it's nice to have a little freshen up. I am all packed up, and on the cards for this morning is a swim. It's going to be chilly as a mofo, but you got to do it. You never regret the ocean, as my friend Annette says. So look, it's all a bit lumpy and bumpy, but I'm going to try and sneak in at the end there. Hope I don't get washed away. Pete's just putting the final touches on his pack up, and he'll join me in a little bit. So I'm just going to have a swim, then we're going to hike back out the same way, but I'm going to have a little look and see if I can find a trail off and get out to this sort of headland there and get a bit of a view. Who knows, may or may not be able to. It's pretty thick up there, but we'll give it a bash. First order of business though, I want to get close to this cliff line and have a look at those beautiful, see those up and down joints? They're called columnar joints. And that, I believe, from here, is a lava flow that has cooled very, very, very slowly, and it's allowed it to form these beautiful pillars. I just went in the kiddies pool here because, yeah, the waves are looking a little bit hectic. And I'm a wuss, so I went in the kiddies pool. All right, now I'm gonna go explore these little rock edges barefoot, so hopefully we don't bust a toe or anything like that. We are back on the trail. I'm feeling good. Pete's feeling good. He didn't freeze to death during the night, so that's always good as well. Little puffball. So we have climbed to the top of a hill here, hoping to get some wicked views, but we have a lot of trees here, so I'm not sure we're going to get the views that I was hoping for, but I'm going to keep trying. There's a little patch on the map there that shows that there's not much vegetation, so we're going to head across to that and hopefully get a little bit more of a view. Did a frog noise. Here, it's imitating a frog.
That's the Lyrebird.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for watching. We're almost back at the car. What a lovely little hike that was. There was dolphins, there was seals, there were seagulls, we saw a snake, and just that beautiful beach. And then this morning, how lovely was it that the wind had died down, so we got to have a nice sort of relaxing chill out and brekkie and a little swim. I think Pete really enjoyed his first hike, and Hopefully I haven't scarred him too much. We did a little bit of off-track stuff there that was a bit a little bit horrible. So we'll wait to see how many ticks we've got on ourselves before I get his full input. Thank you so much for watching. Hey Pete, did you like your first hike?
I did like my first.
You got your special... Very good.
Except you wore me out.